Hi, hello, and welcome back to a podcast where I talk about going from corporate drone to corporate dropout and everything in between as it concerns being a business owner in both the fitness and gaming space. And today's episode is a gaming episode, and we got some big news in the gaming industry right now. Aside from the fact that the Switch 2 launched and everyone is debating, you shouldn't have bought a Switch 2, Nintendo's a bunch of assholes, buy a Steam Deck over a Switch 2, just let people buy the games they want to buy. I bought a Switch 2 because my original Switch, this guy over here that was like a launch Switch, is literally falling apart, and that's because I use it all the fucking time. So I bought a Switch 2, and I bought the Mario Kart World bundle, and I am loving it. I love the bigger form factor, and yes, it's probably the same as a Steam Deck. However, the Steam Deck doesn't have motion control games that things like Ring Fit, which are Nintendo kind of flagship fitness programs like I've talked about in previous episodes, would not exist on the Steam Deck. I would have to connect like my VR headset or something like that in order for me to play a game. I'm not even sure you can do that. I'm not sure that you can. Anyways, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because today, as a business owner, this news kind of impacts me, kind of not, because I've had this status for a long time. But it will impact new streamers coming into the game, new people trying to create gaming content, and I'm gonna kind of switch between two topics. One is Twitch getting rid of the affiliate status, and they're not really getting rid of it, they're just opening it up. So previously, when it came to being monetized on the platform Twitch, you had to have 3 viewers, I think 50 followers, like you had 3 concurrent viewers, 50 followers. I don't even remember what the status is, but a lot of people will like get into, affiliate status groups or whatever that help people build up that initial viewership. And while I don't necessarily agree with like follow for follow or sub trains and things like that, and actually they're against Twitch's terms of service, it helps to get to the monetization piece if that's what you're concerned about. If you want emotes and bits and subscriptions and things like that, you can't do that till you're affiliate. While I haven't seen anything about emotes still being locked behind affiliate, I don't think they are because they have follower emotes now. I don't know. I don't really, the emote thing's not important. The monetization piece is. So now they're opening it up to any streamer streaming on the platform. And while I can understand that people are struggling to get to partner, that's really frustrating, or people that really struggled to get to affiliate, that also is really frustrating. I don't feel like the Twitch affiliate guidelines were so egregious that it was impossible to hit in the first place, that you couldn't just open it up to everybody. Because the reality is if you can't manage to get the 3 viewers that you need for that and the 50 followers, you're really not gonna gain that much from things like bits and subscriptions anyways, because you don't have the community built up for people to give it to you. And if you already have a community before you come over to Twitch, say from something like TikTok, and you can hype up your future Twitch or YouTube even, it doesn't really make a difference because you'll hit affiliate and get that monetization status in like 0.3 seconds. That is not one that takes long to review and get your official status like partner. I don't think it impacts future creators that much, truthfully speaking, in the gaming space. However, as this news was coming out and as Twitch did kind of release their exclusivity contracts with a lot of partnered streamers, what I've seen a lot more of, which I think is an interesting thing from a business perspective, is multi-streaming. And as someone who has monetized both Twitch and TikTok, even as a smaller creator, and am working on monetizing YouTube in multiple ways, I can see how multi-streaming helps platforms. When I was multi-streaming to TikTok, it seemed like 2 different streams entirely because, vertical format is way different when it comes to game viewing and, layouts and things like that, but also just in the way you're discovered, right? If I'm scrolling through TikTok and I see this live of someone playing a game I'm interested in, I'm like, oh, cool, let me click in and see. But the thing is I'm not going to stay on that live for very long, no matter how entertaining they are, because I'm on my phone and I'm bored scrolling anyways. Like, Whereas Twitch, I have to go physically seek out the people I want to watch. It's not something that I'm bored scrolling. And yes, I know Twitch, the mobile app, but the mobile app for Twitch fucking sucks. You have to pay more to subscribe to people. It glitches out half the time. It will pause randomly if you try to like go into other apps. It's just annoying. So if you're actually if you're listening to this and you're actually using that scroll to discover new people on Twitch, please enlighten me how you handle that app, because the Twitch mobile app is a pain in the ass and I hate it. But in the grand scheme of things, when I first started multi-streaming to TikTok, I had monetization over there and I had Twitch, which were two very different things. And I'm realizing now that, you know, multi-streaming to TikTok at the same time you're streaming to Twitch really only works if you have a pretty decent platform, and you might want to do two separate streams for a little while. But when it comes to YouTube and Twitch, your audiences could be similar if you do it right. Looking at it from a business perspective, right? I have always been of the mindset that I separate my gaming and my fitness content. I have always had that in my mind, that I'll have edited gaming videos and then I'll have, you know, with a fitness challenge in it or something like that. And then I'll have fitness focus with a gamer twist, so that they're two separate platforms, but I am still the Fittish Gamer. And that is where I'm going with all of my content. I have the Fittish Gamer, and I think I'm going to change it into one channel is the Fittish Gamer, where I do all the fitness stuff. And then the other is the Fittish Gamer Plays, where all of the gaming content is, so that I can blend them if I want to, use clips from the gaming channel over on the fitness channel, and maybe, you know, cross promote, but I don't have to have two separate niches combined into one channel. That way I'm not getting people that subscribe for something like my Super Mario Odyssey video that I didn't have a fitness challenge in, and, you know, it was just a let's play, if you will. It was kind of an edited down version. It was a supercut, which I saw happening. I saw people subscribing at the, because I did these two videos in the same week. I did my Super Mario Odyssey supercut, and I did my review of meal delivery services. And ironically, those two actually do play together, because a lot of, you know, Odyssey creators have been sponsored by Factor, which is one of the meal deliveries I actually combined, but the two audiences don't really fit each other. So I saw the connection, but I don't know that the audiences did, and I think that's messed with my subscriber count on certain scenarios. And that's thinking from the business perspective, right? But if I'm just a gaming creator and I'm coming to Twitch, or whatever creator, because there's so many different categories on Twitch now. I think Twitch is kind of missed out, in my opinion, when it comes to, you know, health and fitness creators, or the creators like Hassan, who are political commentators, or I don't know, if you want to be an IRL streamer. I don't understand IRL streaming, but it has a purpose, I guess. Some people watch that stuff, and I think it just opens up the same level. You know, TikTok has harsher requirements, in my opinion, than, say, Twitch does to get monetized. So then you put Twitch up against YouTube, where you can't be monetized on YouTube till after a certain amount of subscribers, a certain amount of, yeah, you can go live, but you get nothing out of it. Nothing whatsoever, other than, you know, watch hours, maybe saying they push out your live at all. And if you don't already have a following, multi-streaming to YouTube doesn't really matter. And I think that's where a lot of creators are right now. If you have the following on YouTube and you want to maybe push it over to Twitch a little bit because your payout's better there, or whatever it is, you can do that. You can do that multi-streaming thing, and you can have members and actually have the same cross-pollination, not cross-pollination, but the same benefits as something like your subscribers on Twitch. That is a solid side-by-side, whereas TikTok could really just be used as a promotional thing of, hey, come to the other ones, as a promotional piece, rather than, you know, an actual business strategy of, I'm going to be a TikTok streamer, especially with the volatility of TikTok and how it's going away. No, it's not. It's going away. No, it's not. That's why I decided as a business owner this year to put more time into something like YouTube, because Twitch seems to be struggling, not from a creator perspective. There's plenty of us there, but from a money perspective. And a lot of the bigger creators are pissing off advertisers, and that creates a whole different issue. And, well, if there's no advertisers, advertisers, Twitch doesn't really work. And, subscriptions are getting more expensive on Twitch, which is why people are moving to things like Patreon, because then they can control the different tiers. Or I think even with YouTube members, you can control the tiers, like the cost of each of them. Whereas with Twitch, you can't. There's benefits to both sides as a consumer, but as a business owner, if you don't want to read your consumers for filth, you want as much control over pricing as you can get. And so that's an interesting kind of hit to gaming creators right now. You've got your Switch 2 that, when you really look at inflation, is not that big of a deal. But there is a increasing discourse amongst the gaming community of content creators buying the Switch 2 and their community going, bruh, we're broke. I don't know what you thought from us. Why are you rubbing this in our face? Of course we don't have it because we're broke. And then there's also the people that are commenting about, boycotting Nintendo and everything else. So you've got that kind of weird discourse in the gaming community right now, where even the creators who literally have done nothing but Nintendo content most of their career to date are getting read for filth for buying a console that will have all of the games that they'll need to play in the future as a creator. It's the same, in my opinion, it's no different than people that hate on companies for sending influencers mass amounts of products. You're not gonna send that to a small creator because they don't have the audience. The part of sending free product is to get other people to buy the product. And while not everyone, will go taste something, test a product because they saw an influencer get it, some people will. Right? I have a whole video that I'm planning of products I bought because an influencer said it was good, and were they worth it? And some have been absolutely worth it. For instance, my wolf pack. I just traveled with that, and I got 5 days worth of stuff and snacks and, essentially a whole second backpack inside said backpack so that I didn't have to check a bag when I traveled. And had I not overstuffed it, it would have even just been a regular personal item, and I would have been able to put it under the seat and no one would care. No one would even notice, to be fair. And that is a product that can be useful to both gamers and fitness people. Big laptops, if we're carrying around portable gaming equipment, you need a bigger backpack. You need something that's ergonomic so that you don't hurt your shoulders. And, it's just an all-around good backpack. However, the same could be said about the Switch too, right? These creators that have bought it of their own dime, it's not like Nintendo's sending these things to them, need it to do their job. You as the consumer still watch their content, but you would be complaining if they didn't buy the Switch 2 and weren't getting the latest and greatest games out to you in a review format of some kind, because you're their audience. And so you complaining, about a creator buying the Switch 2 that you're broke, that's not their problem. I'm sorry, it's not. You can boycott Nintendo all you want, but it's still not the creator's problem. If they're a Nintendo creator, they're gonna buy the Nintendo console. Yes, most gamers, if they have the money, will probably buy every console and a PC on top of it. I am most gamers. I have the money, usually, and I buy it. That's what I do. I didn't get any of the intermediary Switches. I bought the original one on launch, and I bought the 2 on launch. And I probably won't get another one until they release the 3 or whatever the next generation of console is. But, this new era of gaming and streaming with Twitch getting rid of affiliate, if you will, or de-emphasizing it, will probably make partner a lot harder. Because there's not an intermediary step. There's no steps in between. And ironically, what a lot of people have been wanting is a step in between affiliate at 3 average viewers and, what's it called? Or at 75 average viewers. Some milestone in between to make streaming actually worth it and not feel so bleh. And that's part of the reason why right now I am focused on, streaming content that I want to make into YouTube videos, and not necessarily on my audience growth and my Twitch stream growth. I don't have a schedule right now, and that's partially because my life has been a little bit crazy. I do want to get back to it, but as a gaming creator, I don't feel the love on Twitch. And the Switch 2 has kind of motivated me to get back into things because, I can play the Switch games without a controller that goes absolutely sideways for no reason. That should have been, a reason to not buy the Switch 2, but, I was gonna buy it anyways. The Joy-Con drift thing is the Joy-Con drift thing. I was gonna buy the Switch 2 regardless of if they fix that problem or not. And that's because I love Mario games. I love Ring Fit Adventure. I love, Nintendo. I've loved Nintendo games since before the Wii, but I really fell in love with it with the Wii. And, I'm a Pokemon person, and, I'm a Nintendo gamer. I've also been a PlayStation gamer. I'm the weirdo that, I've owned an Xbox once in my life, and I went back to PlayStation almost immediately because that was before cross-platform really existed, and all of my friends were playing on Xbox. They weren't PlayStation gamers, and I wanted to play Call of Duty with all of my friends. So I bought an Xbox, and I immediately went back to PlayStation in the next gen, because a lot of my heart games are PlayStation games or Nintendo games. A lot of my nostalgia lives in those two consoles or those two generations of consoles. And it's okay if that's not true for you and you don't want to buy it, but don't force creators who their nostalgia is in that and their, money line is in that. They're already struggling enough, like I said, with Twitch, removing. As business owners, they have to think about what's good for their business, and their content is their business, and buying the Switch 2 is good for their content. And, Twitch used to have exclusivity contracts with a lot of these big partners, and now they don't. They have to, better balance their time between their videos and their streaming because they don't get as much out of their partner program. And some of them, even if they are partners, aren't big enough to have, Dan TDM like contracts with Twitch. And some of them were much bigger on YouTube before they moved to Twitch in the first place. One of the creators that originally got me on Twitch, she was a body painter on YouTube. And, her YouTube is how I found her Twitch. And I've heard a lot of creators talk about that. So not only is multi-posting and multi-streaming super important to the gaming business right now, but also, keeping up with trends. And unfortunately, the trend currently is the Switch 2, whether you love it or you hate it. The companies aren't doing us any good because I've heard a lot of people have issues with copyright strikes on YouTube as well, making videos go down almost instantaneously for whatever reason. Commentary channels and everything else that previously had no issues. The platforms aren't going to protect you. You have to protect yourself as a business owner in the gaming space. And, sometimes that means buying the latest and greatest and putting out whatever you can as fast as you can. All of these people that have turned around Mario Kart World videos already and the console's been out for 3 days, that's fucking insane. I mean, yes, most of them have editors or are the editor themselves, but I don't know, even if I did stream the day I got mine, I would be able to turn around a video. And that's why Mario Kart World isn't something that I'm competing with them on. I will do a Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I will have my own unique twist to it where it'll be like a fitness challenge of, I did a every time I die challenge when I played Super Mario Odyssey. And from my understanding, it is made very similarly, Donkey Kong Bonanza, to Super Mario Odyssey. And I'll probably do the same when I play through that game. But I have to come up with different, challenges for Pokemon games where if I am walking, or something like that. So to make my content a little bit more interesting on the gaming channel, I'm going to do these different fitness challenges. And if you have ideas, leave them in the comments below. But a lot of these creators have to find their unique twist, and sometimes that's just blowing stupid money on things. Sometimes that's, multi-streaming to multiple platforms to try and get YouTube partner while they're already a Twitch partner. If you started on Twitch and weren't doing the videos, or vice versa, you go from YouTube. I know someone who has, probably close to 100,000 subscribers now with all of the big collabs this creator's been doing and still hasn't hit partner on Twitch. And, there's one of the modders in the SMO community that, he doesn't stream often enough to, hit the partner stuff, even though, he has huge creators rating him all the time because he's a modder for said huge creators. So the game of one platform is not possible for gaming creators, which is why I don't think the Twitch monetization thing is that big of a deal. Because if you don't have a community to begin with, it doesn't matter. No one's sending you bits and subscribing to you if, you have one viewer. I mean, that one viewer might be the first person that subscribed to you when you hit affiliate. It's not any really that different It's not that big of a deal. It just allows people to have the ability to monetize. If, you know, they're doing a birthday stream and a bunch of people pop in, they can, you know, subscribe or drop bits or whatever to help that stream. So it's not, platform exclusivity is not a thing anymore for gaming creators. And, you know, monetizing earlier, okay. How does that impact anyone? It doesn't. Other than maybe they changed the revenue split for affiliates, which already was ass anyways. You had to run like an obscene amount of ads for shorter streamers, right? If you're running like 8 to 12 hour streams, which why, if you're that small of an account, should be spending your time on videos and things like that. And that's what I've heard from all of the creators. Like, I'm a small streamer because I spend my time on other shit. If I put the 6 months that I am working on right now to kind of transform my life, if you will, into streaming, and then yeah, I probably could grow my stream. No shit. Like, I probably could grow my stream to partner level if I really put the work into just my Twitch. But I don't want to do that because platform exclusivity is not good. Clearly, because you'll have to deal with changes like this. What's next? I mean, they did change the partner program a few months ago. Twitch is constantly changing. YouTube is constantly changing, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. And if you rely solely on one platform and the income coming from it, you probably shouldn't. Not if you plan on being a full-time creator or a full-time business owner. And yes, there are other things that come with, you know, I plan on doing future morning fitness streams where maybe we do, you know, woo-woo shit, yoga. Like maybe I come up with a gamer yoga. I don't know. I'm not a yoga instructor. Maybe I work with one of my friends who is, though. And come up with like a gamer yoga morning thing. Because that could be fun. I don't know. Because I have decided recently, even as a gamer, that, you know, I need to take it a little bit slower. I don't need to be nonstop hitting the walls. And I don't mean not being productive. I mean, if I come in here and sit in my office and turn all my lights on first thing in the morning, I'm going to be miserable by the end of the day. And I feel like a lot of gaming creators are realizing this as well. They want to focus on the things they actually enjoy and not on the things that are hyper trendy. And just make videos to make videos. And I need to do that. I've been reevaluating my gaming video ideas. I've been reevaluating my fitness video ideas, my short form ideas. And I need to just exist in a world where I don't know what my analytics are. I need to create videos that as do any other creators right there, right? We're talking about the business impact to, you know, platform changes. You can outlive a platform change if you create content you genuinely enjoy. You can outlive, you know, any rough time in your monetization if you are doing it because you genuinely enjoy it. And I think a lot of gaming creators got into, you know, streaming and things like that, not because they love what they're doing, but because they wanted to be the next Alpharad. They wanted to be the next Dan TDM. And that's not reality. I mean, I watch a lot of, you know, Alpharad's content at least, and they put so much into their content, into their streams, into their videos, into their just everything. And if that's what you want, you have to enjoy it. If you want to be the next whatever, you're not going to make it there if you don't enjoy the content you're making. And even they've talked about, you know, wanting to go back to making content that they enjoy and not just spitting it out. A lot of the creators that have been doing it for a decade or so now have been talking about that recently. And I need to keep that in mind because I will look at analytics and start spitting out slop just because I think it'll work. Because this video worked, so I'm gonna do it again all over, but, you know, different products or whatever. And that's something I, as a business owner, need to be aware of. And that's something any gaming creator, really any creator in general, needs to be aware of. Is, hey, if you're creating things for the analytics and not because you actually enjoy and believe in it, you're probably not gonna survive very long. But it also helps you survive platform changes like this Twitch affiliate change, right? If you haven't hit affiliate, well, it gives you an opportunity to now be monetized on Twitch without having to hit it. If you're not utilizing multiple platforms, try that and see if you can grow before they officially like take away the requirements for monetization. See if you can make it. If it was a goal of yours, see if you can do it before they officially take it away. Work with the new features rather than against them. Because at the end of the day, yes, platforms are shitty and they do shitty things all the time, but they also do some pretty great things for their creators sometimes. Sometimes being the key word there. However, you can always find a way to make, the new thing work for you, whether it be an algorithm change, whether it be a monetization change, whether it be adding shorts on YouTube. Find a way to make it work and go with it. If it doesn't work, then don't do it, right? A lot of the big long form creators that have been around the platform since before shorts don't use shorts at all because they don't need to. They didn't need it to grow their audience, but maybe they start doing it because, their numbers stagnated and they wanted to grow a little bit bigger. You have to find what works for you. And I think that's kind of the lesson in, this new Twitch news and the Switch 2 discourse. If it works for you, who the fuck cares? Grow your business in a way that works for you. Even if it's weird, like working at 2 a.m. Who cares? That's your business. If you want to do that, you do it. As long as no one's waiting on you for a response, like an employee or something. Who cares? 2 a.m. works for some people and not for others. But that's kind of my 2 cents on, do I think the Twitch payout, Twitch monetization changes are going to mean anything? No, not really. Everyone's making a big deal about it. Oh my God, Twitch is getting rid of affiliate. Okay, cool. Like, realistically, like I said, if you don't have the audience, you're not going to benefit from it anyway. It really doesn't matter. If you're literally just streaming, if you already had a huge platform on YouTube and you get some of those to convert over to Twitch and you're just streaming enough days to meet those monetization requirements and people can start subbing to you and helping you kind of prove your case for partner in the future, okay, you were already making money off of them, technically speaking, viewing your content on YouTube. If they want to drop their own money on subs, let them. Like, who cares if you haven't been streaming? Because I think there's you have to stream X amount of days too before you can hit it. So you can't hit it day one even if you hit the viewership requirements. Okay, cool. Now everyone can make money from day one. Cool. I don't care. That doesn't impact me at all. I don't know why people are freaking out about it. Now, if they changed it significantly into the sense of, current affiliates would have to re-up and they change the viewership requirements or whatever, then yeah, it would impact a lot of people that use Twitch as a side gig. If you were no longer monetized because you don't meet the new viewership requirements and you don't get grandfathered in, then yeah, that's something to be mad about. But that's not the case here. They're just expanding who can get paid. But at the end of the day, you're not really getting paid unless you've built a strong community anyway. So it doesn't matter. No one's just gonna wander in your stream and drop bits unless you were already a big community and you did the work anyway. So I don't know. It doesn't impact me. It doesn't impact most affiliates who are already at that status. Because at the end of the day, you were already competing with each other in the game category you're competing in. Whether they're monetized or not, your viewership is your viewership. You were already competing with these smaller creators anyway. So it doesn't change the algorithm. It doesn't change anything. And it really doesn't change anything for partners. They're like, nah, I don't care. And good for them. They made it to that status where they don't have to care about the little changes for the little guys. But this one is a little minor change that doesn't matter, in my opinion. And if it bothers you that Twitch did this, by all means, drop some comments in below about your experience trying to get to affiliate and why it bothers you. But for me, as a gaming content creator, as a gamer myself who watches a lot of Twitch, I'm not gonna, go sub to someone I haven't watched significantly and contributed to their viewership requirements for affiliate anyway. So, I might give you my Prime, maybe, but, that's about it. I'm not, if I had, free bits or something, maybe, if you had, some fun redeem, but the likelihood is most people aren't dropping money, especially in today's day and age, on creators they haven't spent time watching to begin with. So it doesn't really matter. It just gives people the opportunity to, transfer their audiences a little bit easier and get monetized from day one. Now, if Twitch came out with something like Kick, which The platform's a mess, but the idea of paying partnered streamers a salary is a cool one. And I wish Twitch would do something like that. And maybe they do, and it's just like in one of those exclusivity contract things. But to my knowledge, they don't. And that's maybe something Twitch could do to benefit their community, especially their bigger creators. That, yeah, it would piss off the little guy, but it might make us work a little harder. Because right now, there's not a ton of benefit to that little check mark on Twitch, other than, you know, a lounge at TwitchCon, from what I've heard. It's not that big of a deal anymore, especially when you don't get, you know, revenue split contracts and things like that anymore. So that's just my 2 cents. Platforms change all the time. Diversify your content across all of the platforms. If it doesn't really heavily impact you, don't really care about it. Don't waste your time on it. It's so silly to waste your time on, you know, these little minute changes that Twitch is making, when at the end of the day, Twitch could go down and, you know, we'd all have to figure out something new. And that's okay. Unless you're not diversifying your content, then you've got issues. Look at the TikTok ban. You know, there's so many people that are only TikTok creators or have struggled to grow on other platforms because of the way they create content for TikTok. And I, for one, never want to get caught in that business strategy ever again. Because I was at a place where, you know, my TikTok was significantly larger than any other account I had. And I don't want to get stuck in that again. So I'm putting my time here on YouTube, which thus far has seemed to stand the test of time thus far. But again, I'll diversify with Twitch and TikTok until TikTok goes away, and whatever else, whatever other platform appears in the abyss. I don't know. Neptune, maybe. I was beta testing it, but it annoys me every time I get on it that I can't see like likes and comments and things like that. So as of right now, I'm not a huge fan of it. But that's just me. I also struggle to post content regularly as it is, so maybe I shouldn't have signed up for beta testing, but I am playing around with it. And thus far, it's meh to me. It breaks a lot, and, you know, it's not ready for the main stage, but that's what beta testing's for. Anyways, that is kind of gamer news this week, and, you know, rants as a business owner, because in theory, that monetization thing could impact me as a business owner in the gaming space, but it doesn't. The Switch 2 thing kind of does, just because, you know, $500 is not a cheap price for, but I talked about that previously, you know, gamers are kind of getting priced out of their own hobby, and I don't love that, but there's nothing really you can do about it when a lot of our hobby is relying on hardware, and the hardware doesn't self-produce. You know, yes, $80 games are insane, but, you know, when you look at inflation, it's not really that insane. Realistically, it sucks, but prices are never gonna go back down. It's not like we'll see a $20 game. And yeah, on Steam, you get the Steam sales and everything else, and you don't get that with console exclusives. Sometimes you do, but Nintendo very rarely. So, I don't know. As a gamer, I'm gonna buy what I want to buy, and I'm gonna enjoy what I want to enjoy, and that be it. I'm not really gonna go out of my way to make myself unhappy to play things to appease the masses. I'm gonna play what I want to play. I'm gonna put those videos out, and, you know, that's gonna be my thing. And as a content creator, you should do that as well. You shouldn't play games just because they make you mad. It's why I don't play freaking Souls games. Could I? Yes. Do they make me absolutely frustrated to no end and I don't enjoy the game anymore? Yes. That's why I don't play them. At least that's why I don't stream them and make videos out of them, because I like being angry at my video games sometimes, but I don't like doing it when I have an audience watching me. Anyways, thank you for listening to my rant about, you know, the upcoming Twitch changes and how that impacts content creators and gaming business owners. But the reality is as of right now, it doesn't really impact me or really anyone other than the people who haven't hit affiliate yet. And cool, they get a little bit of extra side cash. I don't really care. It doesn't impact me at all. So at the end of the day, the gaming industry is changing every damn day, and it continues to grow in both directions that we like and dislike, and it's a lot of chaos and fuckery. So I appreciate you here to listen about the chaos and fuckery. And, you know, if you're a small business owner, and by that I mean gaming creator on Twitch, and this impacts you in any way, please feel free to, you know, talk about it in the comments, because to me, I don't see it as a big deal, but maybe there's something I'm missing. Yeah, that is all, and I appreciate you. Goodbye.